Hi, my name is James Allen, and I'll be talking to you today a little bit about the current crisis the music industry is in. Now, let me ask you, and don't feel obligated to raise your hand, but how many people here actually pay for music? Oh, that's what I thought. I don't pay for music, and honestly, I don't think I know anybody who actually does pay for music. And I'm sure you guys know this guy. This is the face of piracy, the same piracy that tarnished the music industry. Let me give you a brief history of the music industry before this guy popped his face in. Record labels basically dominated the music industry. There were four major labels: EMI, Warner Music Group, Universal Music Group, and Sony Music Entertainment. And the backbone of these companies' profits were album sales. And as you can see, piracy has been messing with the album sales. Right here's a graph that shows the decline of U.S. album sales from 2004 to 2008. This graph actually includes digital downloads like iTunes, which right now are actually on the rise, which skews this graph a little bit. But I guarantee that come 2 years, this graph will more realistically look absolutely vertical. So, we want to take a closer look at how it hurt the record labels. We can look at EMI, home of Abbey Road Studios, where the Beatles wrote and recorded most of their music. They also had record deals with Eric Clapton and the Rolling Stones, just to name a few. But if you look at the recent past for EMI, you can see, here's a graph, EMI's revenues and profits from 2003 to 2009. It is in euros, however, you can get the gist of what's going on here. One interesting thing is that between 2006 and 2007, they're actually making negative profits. And that continues on all the way until the present day. Right here, they were bought out by a venture capitalist firm, Terra Firma. And as a matter of fact, a couple weeks ago, they actually sold Abbey Road Studios. Probably their biggest claim to fame. So, some people, like these big record execs, will tell you that the music industry is in shambles. However, others, like myself, can look past the barriers and see the door open for innovation. I encourage you guys to listen closely, as you too can see the doors open for innovation by looking past the barriers that these graphs show. With record sales virtually null, it is imperative that we put album sales behind us and focus on the solution, a new business model. This new business model needs to profit off of what I like to refer to as the new generation of music listeners, or the NGML. These are people like you and I who have grown up in the technology age, who have pirated music most of our lives. But the funds that we're not using for buying albums are probably being reallocated to our concert funds, which will be a major component of this new business model. So, the solution, or the new business model, is as follows. You got to produce music digitally with low overhead. Then we give away the music for free, or next to free, depending on the caliber of the band. How many of y'all have heard of Pretty Lights? Yeah. Well, though I don't really like Pretty Lights because he steals music and he's just a tech geek who sits behind a computer and mixes stolen music, I do like his business proposition, his business model. He gives away all of his music for free on his website, and then he puts all of his effort into touring. And as y'all all know, he sells out shows all over the United States. Now, with the money we've saved from low-cost productions, we can then use that to campaign an effective tour. There's been a recent surge in music technology industry, such as data analytic companies like Bandmetrics, which will allow you to target your market, and it'll give you a geographical map saying here's where your biggest supporters are and here's where your casual listeners are. So you can use that data to help you campaign an effective tour. Maybe in the place, say New York is where you have most of your fans. That would be a place where you could go hard after the merchandise and maybe even set it up for a 3D video, because as I know, many of my friends would purchase one of those. So what's going to happen if we don't do something about this today? Well, it's simple. There's not going to be any more music, or good music at least. Because, yep, I know. But because if there's no profit in making music, then people aren't going to spend the time to make good music, bottom line. So I challenge all y'all to put your entrepreneurial skills to the test. And if you want your children to share the same musical passion as you, we have to do something very quickly. We, as the new age music listeners, to rehydrate the music industry. Thank you. Are there any questions? No?
Yeah.